Cheryl Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Over the past months, I've had swastikas carved into posters, social media posts like Burn the Witch and Stab the Sea, people putting Labour Party posters on my home, photographed them and pushed them through my letterbox, and someone even urinated on my office door. Hardly kinder, gentler politics. Can my right honourable friend suggest what can be done to stop this intimidation, which, Mr. Speaker, may well be putting off good people from serving in this place?
My honourable friend is absolutely right to raise this issue, and she was not the only person who experienced this sort of intimidation during the election campaign. Particularly, I'm sorry to say, this sort of intimidation was experienced by female candidates during the election campaign. I believe that this sort of behaviour has no place in our democracy. I think she's right. I think it could put good people off from serving in this House. We want more people to become engaged, more people to want to stand for election to this House.
This is a very important debate, and I congratulate the honourable gentleman for obtaining it. But we have to be clear. We are not talking here about robust debate, however robust it is. We are talking about mindless abuse. And in my case, the mindless abuse has been characteristically racist and sexist. And just to outline, I've had death threats, I've had people tweeting that I should be hung if, quotes, they could find a tree big enough to take the fat. There was an EDL-affiliated Twitter account, hashtag burn Diane Abbott. I've had rape threats, described as a pathetic, useless, fat, black piece of shit, ugly, fat, black. And over and over again, one of my members of staff said that when people ask her what is the most surprising thing about coming to work for me, the most surprising thing for her is how often she has to read the word. And this comes in through emails, through Twitter, through Facebook. But where I disagree with the honourable gentleman, he seems to suggest that this is all a relatively recent thing around the time of this election. That's not my experience. That really is not my experience. It is certainly true that online abuse, the online abuse that I experience and others experience, has got worse in recent years, and it does get worse at election time. But I don't put it down to a particular election. I think the rise in the use of online has turbocharged abuse. Because, you know, 30 years ago, when I first became an MP, if you wanted to attack an MP, you had to write a letter, usually in green ink, you had to put it in an envelope, you had to put a stamp on it, and you had to walk to the post box. Now they press a button and you read vile abuse, which 30 years ago people would have been frightened to even write down. So I accept that male politicians get abused too. But I hope the one thing we can agree on in this chamber is that it is much worse for women. Absolutely. And I think as well as the rise of online, anonymity is the thing. People would not come up to me and attack me for being in public, but they'll do it online. And I'm telling you, this isn't once a week. This isn't during an election. This is every day. My staff switch on the computer, they go onto Facebook, they go onto Twitter, and they see this stuff. Okay.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. Which is nice. It's not the only way to get an audience to have your friends
If you want to
Well, some people who don't agree with me wanted to make their point. And I don't object to this. I think that we live in a free society, and freedom of speech is very important. And people like me who advocate freedom of speech must support it when it's not exactly what we want, as well as when it is what we want. And so I think they're entitled to protest. I think they're entitled to disapprove and dislike my views. I think it's sad that they don't want to engage and discuss them.